Well, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me or maybe online, I'm Rob Bishop. I'm Parks Board President for the remainder of this year. As is always typical with the county meetings, let's stand and do a pledge, followed by Mr. Metzger with the prayer again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we're so thankful for this opportunity to get together as a community. Please watch over us and help us come up with a wise plan that makes you look good. Amen.
Amen. With those out of the way, I now call the third meeting of the Kosciuszko County Parks Board to order. Just for an agenda for those of you, I think they were all passed out, but just for everybody, it's a very exciting day for us. We're going to really start our master plan project. So we're going to do a little business of the Parks Board. Then we're going to turn it over to Maycog and Donnie to work on the steering committee stuff. And then the Parks Board will come back together in case we have any business that we need to conduct after that's done. If you do come up and speak, make sure you speak into the microphone. I just noticed when I turned my head and I was looking at my notes, it wasn't nearly as amplified as when it was, so bad on me. But with that, for the Parks Board members, I think the next item is approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any discussion of those minutes?
I'd like to move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So our next item is the master plan and the steering committee. So we have retained Maycog to help us. Maycog, for those who've been involved, may see them in the paper. They're doing like the US 30 project is heavily involved with Maycog, a bunch of other stuff, but we'll let Donnie take over at this time. And Donnie, if you need us down in the audience or anything else, just tell us what you need.
All right, thank you. So I will disclose, we like to have these meetings be informal. So there might be a lot of conversations that might be kind of hard to record on mic. So as we're doing activities, because I give everyone a green, yellow, and a blue, green, yellow card for the activity we'll be getting to here in a second. There will be a portion where we'll need everyone to kind of, or get into small groups, and we might have those groups kind of report out, so we'll just have to do our best to come up to the microphone so everyone online can also hear. Also with me from ACOG, Sophia Gladden. She's joining virtually to help manage the Zoom portion when we get to the breakout activities, so you'll likely see her on camera. So before we get into the activities real quick, I just wanted to spend 5 minutes just, I threw up the agenda. Everyone should have the agenda at the back of the room. But just want to walk through what the timeline and planning tasks will look like over the next few months. Because if anyone's not familiar with the Department of Natural Resources, their guidelines for putting together a park master plan, they changed the first draft due date from January to November 15th, and the reason for that was to allow communities to have a bit more time to put together the second draft after comments have come back in from the state for that first draft. Plus, it also gives the state more time to review this first draft because it's not just us working on a master plan. There's other communities across the state of Indiana also submitting, first, second drafts to the state. So November 15th is our first kind of big milestone marker. And obviously October 20th, so a couple more weeks, that date will be coming up here quickly. So just kind of skipping down to number 3 on the agenda, going over the outline of what needs to be included in that first draft. Again, this is your guys' plan. Maycog is the facilitators to kind of help collect that information. We will also, as what we mentioned at September's meeting, or August's meeting at this point, we will be the ones actually writing that document, preparing it for everyone. But during these meetings, we're just asking everyone's active participation and group activities to help us get that information that we need to put together this planning document. So for elements that we need for this first draft, is definition of the planning area. So what's that scope of work look like? Which, the planning area will include Kosciuszko County, the unincorporated areas of it. Today is or point B, establishing a vision and mission statements. This is a key component that's included in that first draft. So today's activities will focus on putting together this vision and mission statement. So I would like to leave with about 80–90% of it completed, where we can all kind of be in agreement that this is a good working draft of a vision statement, and what's left is something that can just be shared by email that can simply just be commented on that way. But today, we would like to focus on getting those statements crafted. The next item is a summary of the existing additions. This is looking at your demographic, socioeconomic data, so population trend, other various demographic breakdown like age, breakdown of the sex and age, and as well as ethnicity, and then economic data, housing data, so all that good stuff that Sophia and I are also working on collecting using census data. So we're working on on the back end this existing addition summary. So after this meeting, we'll most likely be sharing that by email, depending on when we schedule November's meeting because of Thanksgiving. It might just have to be, that first draft will probably be shared by email, if not at the next meeting. Another component is reviewing any ADA accessibility. So if there's any facilities in the county that they owns, or if there's any potential, we'll need to do some sort of review of ADA components. And then as well, the last thing that's needed is the state just wants to see that we did some portion of public participation. Not everything related to public participation has to be completed by November 15th. But we can use a number of the activities that was done through the Fort Kosciuszko County Plan to indicate that there was a lot of public participation that's going on, as well as then the HELP program that's also going on. Both of those are speaking to the need and the development of having a parks and recreational system in the county, establishing the Parks Board, establishing a cohesive trail network system. So all this activities will definitely get funneled into this document. We would still like to issue a short input survey to kind of get more specific to residents' aspirations, what their visions, how they would imagine, what kind of parks they would like to see in the county, maybe potentially even recommend where trails could like to see locate. It's meant to be very high level, but again, just kind of garner what the public's interests are at this stage. And then in the second draft, we'll do another form of public participation, might be, again, in the form of a survey, as well as we can do any public meetings, open houses, or pop-up events before that final draft is due in April 15th. So then I alluded that all that needs to be packaged together by November 15th, which we will work with the board and you all to share what this first draft looks like, seek your all's comments, and then we'll submit that to the state. And then the state will review it to provide us comments, and then that gives us time before April 15th to finish up the remaining elements. So this looks at existing and proposed park and recreational facilities. We'll do a needs and gap analysis, as well as a benchmark analysis. The benchmark, what this will focus on is comparing to other counties or similar sized communities on, did they establish a park system for the first time? How did they do it? And it's just more of a case study type of analysis. The gap analysis will look at, where are there existing trails in particular, or parks, and then what's a good service radius for those facilities, to then see within the unincorporated areas where are there known gaps that we could hopefully fill in. And then the last item will be establishing goals as well as objectives or priorities that will help guide the Parks Board and the county's initiatives over the next 5 years. Okay, so jumping back up to A real quick, planning and tasks. So over the next 2 months, like I said, we'd like to put together a survey, get that sent out, so you'll likely see a draft of those questions by email. We are also right now Sophia and I are conducting stakeholder interviews, so some of you we may have already contacted. Stakeholder interviews will help us get additional information that we can't get from census. So it'd be like talking to the Lilly Center, for example, of hearing their needs, what do they see our major challenges in terms of the county having a park and recreational system, et cetera. There's a number of things that the state wants to see is like invasive species, what are the natural water bodies, location, the names of these things. So we're trying to, collect that information and then, hear what our challenges are as it relates. Or historical components is another element that will be included. And then the steering committee meetings, which is this. So they are part of the Parks Board, so this is recorded. The Parks Board will most likely do this in conjunction, given the time and everyone being here and the simplicity of that. So we'll look to do monthly meetings. We'll, depending on the Thanksgiving holiday one, well, let Rob and the remaining Park Board when you guys are having your scheduled meeting for that month. But for sure, we'll be doing monthly meetings December, January, February, and March, and most likely April, obviously, to hear the final draft of that plan. And that concludes kind of what it's to be expected kind of over the next 4 or 5 months. So it'll go really quick, but it would be very useful and helpful. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this process. So before we go into the activities, is there just any questions from anyone?
Thanks. I have a quick question. Does this activity itself count as community input?
Yeah, we also include steering committee meetings because public participate as a portion of public participation. Yep.
And then the other question is, grand visions can be incredibly broad and/or get down incredibly detailed. So I'm guessing you want to hear everything and you will craft it to what
Yep.
your experience is the best level for
Correct.
this type of activity?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. I also want to be cognizant of the park board's time, so if there's any other remaining, items on the agenda, I'd like to make sure you guys can conclude that too when we're done with this, so.
Right, and we really left that open in case this discussion caused us to need to do anything at any point. I know we wanted to talk about the help worksheets, and there's a conference coming up we sort of had talked about. So if you want us to do that now or you want us to wait, which is better for you?
I'd recommend that we actually hit those two topics first because I
Right.
think it'll be hard to bring the group back at the end.
Aggie, did I hear you're going to talk about the help project? Okay.
Sure. And this is, we don't have any decision to make. This is just a reporting back. You may recall at our last meeting, Amy Rowe talked to us about completing a few worksheets that would be essentially a pre-application for some of the help funding that came through the American Rescue Plan funneled through our county. And since we met, Mike and I were part of a subcommittee, and we had help from others in the community, and we have submitted 3 worksheets. And those worksheets need to meet certain criteria of the program, and some of that criteria includes being in an area for some of the funding that meets the low and moderate income guidelines. But the 3 projects submitted, one is to do an extension on the Chinworth Trail. So we currently have a bike trail that goes out to the athletic facility and stops at the Chinworth Bridge. And the worksheet would extend that approximately 3/4 of a mile out to approximately where Crazy Eggs is. But there's some work that's been done, that's been included in some other plans in the past. The second worksheet is to create a master plan for greenways and blueways in our county. And this would be kind of go beyond the specificity that we'll be able to do in the 5-year master plan that we're starting today. And it would allow us to get more specific on greenway and blueway trails. And then the third is a project that would be located in a not yet identified specific site, but along James Lake to allow access for non-motorized water transportation, kayaks, canoes, and that's the third worksheet. So what I understand of the process next is the county council and county commissioners will meet sometime before the end of the calendar year and review all of the worksheets that have been submitted. And from that, then set priorities for the funding that our county will receive. So our name is connected to those 3 worksheets or projects, but we don't yet have the next specific steps. There's no date yet, as far as I know, for when the council and commissioners will meet. And we may be asked to present at that meeting on behalf of those projects that are connected to us. But I want to thank those that have helped us with this, and there was a lot of support from MACOG in the process.
Well, I'd like to thank Aggie and Mike for participating in this. It was the 2 of you, was it not? So this was something that came up on incredibly short notice at our last meeting, and we assigned them to try to get these worksheets done. We were asked by the county leadership to do so, and so we have completed that for them. So any other discussion on that issue, and from anybody in the audience as well? Very good. Well, let's talk about the Parks and Recreation Conference discussion. So I had sent an email out. I was advised, gosh, I think it was by Larry Plummer. Was it you that sent it to me? Somebody indicated, hey, you ought to look at joining IPRA, which is the Parks and Recreation Board throughout the state of Indiana. They have a conference coming up later next month. I think we're very hard up against their deadlines. In my experience, those have some flexibility. But the couple problems that we would need to address is, one, there was a fee to belong to it, and there would be a fee to go and potentially room charges if people stayed overnight. And we, of course, have no budget to pay for any of that. So we obviously can seek grants. It's something we could certainly go to K21 or the Community Foundation and seek money. So what does everybody think about that? Aggie, were you turning your microphone on? Did you? Oh.
Can any of the initial grant dollars that we had that came up in the first meeting be applied towards this? No, okay.
Well, I guess the other question is how quickly, you mentioned too, the County Foundation and K21, how quickly can they turn around and say, sure, have the money? I mean, it seems like it may be putting a lot undue pressure on them to turn around and just give us money that quick.
And that's absolutely true. We may be on too short a notice to make this one happen. But if there are people who want to go, I'm certainly not opposed to us reaching out to one of them and say, hey, can you spot us a couple $1,000 so we can go make this happen?
Yeah, I took a look at the agenda, and I believe that it opens on November the 16th, and it's a couple of day conference. I would be able to drive down and back on the 16th to participate in day one, which seemed to be the majority of the topics that seemed to be of interest to me based on my role. So I, could minimize expenses without a hotel stay by traveling down and returning that same day, and I could report back to the committee any information that that we have to share from that. So.
What I would suggest then, Troy, is you or I reach out to them and see if maybe they'll waive the fee for us this year.
Okay.
I think there is a minimal budget for next year, is there not?
I believe there is, and I would also suggest that if there is that need this year, we reach out to the commissioners.
Okay.
As they said, there would be funding available in their budget, and that would fall in line with this as well. And just one additional note, currently, your next meeting is scheduled for November 17th. That's the date that we had picked prior, but if that needs to change because of the conference, we could do that as well.
Good point. Well, why don't I reach out to Commissioner Grueniger then, unless you want to, see if we can't. Well, let's back up. Let's reach out to IPRA and see if they'll waive the fee initially. And if they won't, we'll go to the commissioner.
I'll take care of that, Rob. I'll drop them a note, see what they can do, and then I'll come back to you and we can figure out what we do
They'll
from
still
there.
need money for gas and expenses too, so I mean, it's not just the fee.
Yeah.
So we couldn't expect you to drive there for free.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to paying for a tank of gas to Indy and back, so. I'll let you know how that goes as far as waiving the fee goes, because I think that it would be a good opportunity for us to get up to speed with what's going on at the state level and to be able to partner with them and then be able to share that information internally so that we can hopefully incorporate it and leverage it as we move forward in coming time.
Yeah, I can tell you that had an email this week from a local organization that's built a park that community can use, and they wanted some help with grant funding. And I'm like, we're all brand new to this. To go to an organization in a meeting like this and start to see who all the players are, I just think would be tremendously useful to us in bootstrapping, because I'm certainly not in a position to help them today with that. But I know who they are, and I told them I would keep an eye out, so. Any other discussion on this issue?
I would just add, if we find an economical way to attend, I'm available that day to join as well, if it can be more than one person.
Great.
That'd be great.
I think that was all the business that the Parks Board had today, was it not? I think you're back up.
Okay, so we'll jump into the exercise that we handed out those postcards for. So if everyone, yes.
You know, we haven't done introductions,
Oh, okay.
and I have a list of names, but I don't have faces and names connected. I wonder if we could, for the whole benefit of the room and those on Zoom, maybe just do introductions.
Sure. Do you want them to then obviously come up to the podium to get in the mic?
Oh, that seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Well,
I think if everybody stands in spots. So why don't you go first, and then I'll go, and we'll go around our table, then we'll get everybody in the audience.
okay. Donnie Ritzma, Senior Community Development Planner with the Michiana Area Council of Government. And also joining online is Sophia Gladden. She's the other Community Development Planner with MACOG. So then
And
I'll
I introduced myself earlier. I'm Rob Bishop. I'm on the Parks Board for this year.
And my name is Troy Turley. I'm the Vice President of the Parks Board.
Aggie Sweeney, member of the Parks Board.
Matt Metzger?
Mike Cusick?
You're not excluded.
I'm invisible here. David Sloan, Times Union.
Leah Sander, in Free News. Rebecca Bizzoni, Joe's Kids.
Greg Demopoulos, KCB.
Linda Kenny, Pearson.
Jerry Wright, Secretary for Sequel, President, Board Member.
Shannon Shepherd, Purdue Extension. Diane Watson.
Larry Plummer, Warsaw Parks.
Nick Bosch, Foley Center for Lakes and Streams at Grace College.
Bill Holder, Kosciuszko County GIS Clerk.
Randy Grimm, is interstate community member.
Jason Zod, User Health Member. Tony Peterson, Purpose Services.
Michelle Bucket, County Auditor.
We are so excited that,
We
we
have
got
more
people
online.
online, and I'm going to turn around because it's easier for me. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred Helfrich, I'm with the KCV and Ride Walk.
And Rich?
Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Haddad with K21 Health Foundation. And since I'm voicing in, if you want to call me next week about the conference, please do.
Thank you, Rich. And Jim?
Jim Swanson from the YMCA.
Yes, thank you all for joining us as well. It's super exciting to have everybody here, and especially have somebody who's not associated with us coming on in today. That's awesome. I've done other meetings where nobody appeared and you're hearing crickets, so I appreciate in particular you coming today.
All right. So if everyone pull out the blue note card, What we would like you to do on this card, again, if you don't have a pen, let me know and I can get you a pen. You'll need a blue, a green, and a yellow card, if you don't have one already. But first, starting with your blue card, individually, there's a question on the screen that states, what is your grand vision for a Kosciuszko County Parks and Recreation System? So as it was mentioned earlier, grand vision could be broad or it could be as specific as you want. But basically, the premise for this question is we want to hear, what are your aspirations in having a park and recreational system? So this is like your dream wish. So what does your ultimate dream look like to have this kind of a system in place? So you can write as many ideas as you like on the OneNote card, or if you want to simplify it to one. When you're done, let me know. Those online, you've already seen the chat. You can also use the Jamboard feature. I shared the link in the chat box, or Sophia had mentioned that you can easily just type your response in the chat box, and she will copy and paste it onto the Jamboard. Just try to simplify using that tool. So those online, if you can also participate and answer that question, that'd be great. And those in the room, when you're ready, hold it up, because I'm going to collect them and get you started on the next question. I'll give you about there's 3 questions, so we'll spend about 5 minutes or so per question. Oh, you guys? Okay.
Tony, did you have a pen? I managed to come over with a laptop and no pen.
So are these supposed to be anonymous? Is it? Okay,
It don't matter.
okay.
I mean, you don't have to put your name on it or anything like that. So.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
If you want to go mountain biking, go where the mountains are. This is blue. Thank you, sir.
There was a question asked, so I'll just share with everyone just in case if anyone is stuck. This is not like a vision statement. This could just be a short, simple bulleted list of, again, what you would like to see. We'll be getting into the vision statement after this, so.
Grandfathers, the ones that were here in 18 clocks for a living. So when I was young, they literally would have 100 clocks running at any one point in time. So you walk in the house and a clock like that, you'd hear 20 clocks go off. It was amazing. I don't. I have some that need work because I have 5 or 6. And I have one Westminster chiming clock that's just beautiful, but the spring's broken. There's so few people who know how to work on them anymore and do it right. No. Michelle, are you controlling who gets in the Zoom meeting? Are you controlling who gets in the Zoom meeting? Can you let me in?
Yes, I minimized that. So I wanted to take it.
Are there any other blue cards? Okay. One second. Sophia, if you can hear me, I'm trying to get these to you.
The Zoom meeting? Yeah.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each of the three questions first, and then Sophia is gonna diligently look at common themes across those three questions. To then on the fourth slide, that's where we'll openly discuss then what are we commonly seeing amongst those participating online as well in the room. So I'm taking photos of the blue cards here in the room so I can share with Sophia so she can get those recorded as you guys are going on to the next question. Okay. So the next question, using your green card, what is going on today that is working to achieve that vision that you put on that blue card? And again, this is just, punchy bulleted list.
I'm sorry, are we on yellow or green?
Green. So those online, again, saying if you can just turn in your response to the chat box, so they'll put those on the screen when you're ready. And those in the room, if you're ready, I'll come around and start collecting them. Does anyone need help on this question, or is it you guys okay with it? Judging by the silence, I'm gonna say yes. Yep. And Sophia, if you should be seeing the cards that are here in the room here shortly as they're coming. So moving on to the last question. So now the last card you have is a yellow. Answer this question, again, based on what you put on your blue card. What barriers exist today that's preventing you or us from achieving that vision? And then same goes for online. If you submit in the chat box, and Sophia will get yours recorded on the slide.
I'm invisible here. I do, and I use the trails all the time. But then an anonymous person said add more trails.
So give us just 1 minute so I can get these sent over to Sophia, and then we'll come back together and summarize all these and share out. recording, so. Okay. I apologize for that lag time. Sorry. Was a little diligent trying to record all that to help Sophia. So I think a lot of good ideas. So we're moving on to the next portion of summarizing what everyone had said on those cards. So Sophia started, grouping what looked like to be goals, what are great things that are working, and then the barriers. So these are common themes, again, across everyone who's participating and what that looks like. So underneath goals, common themes look at connectivity, communities, connectivity within communities of the county, recreational activities within the county, accessibility, some more accessible parks and recreational activities. Everyone should have access to natural resources. And then another common goal was the preservation of natural resources. Summarizing what everyone thought was working today is good enthusiasm and support from the community, so community involvement, number of grants that are being awarded to kind of help progress this initiative. There's a number of existing projects under the way, as well as planning support, so like Forward Kosciuszko and HELP are a great asset. And then, number of committees, the Ride Walk and the projects that they're working on. And then another good thing that obviously is we can talk about is the creation of the county park board, you all. And then the last question is what's preventing those visions from being a reality? So common themes look at lack of information, lack of support from county. I'm not sure if that's like county government or elected officials, leaders, lack of community buy-in, funding, limited funds and money to kind of advance those. And then the last sticky note there, a lack of unified vision and a mission plan. So hopefully that's what we're gonna solve here next. So with those common themes in mind, and obviously what you shared individually, what I'd like to do next is then work on taking these common themes and probably within small groups. So I don't know if a park board member wants to take a group to kind of help. That would probably be great if we could divide up in like groups of 4 to 5. That'd be great. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1 per park board member. Get it in 5 groups, and we'd like you to come up with a vision statement. And I believe one of the handouts in the back, we gave everyone an example from other communities, either we have assisted or ones that we thought were great examples from around the state. Examples of what other parks departments or parks boards vision statements look like. So if you have that, pull it out. If not, I believe it's in the back on the table. But use that as inspiration, what a vision statement could look like. And then obviously taking into consideration what we just had done in this exercise. So we'll give you another 15, 20 minutes in your groups to come up with a vision statement.
I
Yes.
hope this isn't too hard. What,
There's a page that says vision statement examples.
That's what I'm referring to. I'm not sure if they may have gotten that, though. So if you guys have it,
we have it.
the
So,
park board members have it, so when they get
We'll
into the
bring it to the
groups,
group.
we'll go through it.
My question was, how do you define the difference between the vision and the mission? Because I think you want us to come up with both.
Yes. So we first want to focus on just the vision. The vision is more higher level, broad direction for the board. The mission statement is more specific directive. Again, there's examples, kind of distinguishing what's the difference between the two in there, but to hopefully kind of paraphrase, vision is more higher level, aspirational. Mission is more specific and subjective and more directive for the next 2 to 5 years type thing, so.
Okay.
Great. So park board members, if you guys could take a group, and then everyone in the audience, if you could join a group, try to keep it to 4 individuals per group, 4 to 5 individuals per group. And then within your groups, like I said, using the examples that the park board members have, as well as what you had shared in those note cards, come up with a vision statement. And then those online, since there's 3 participants, if you as an individual want to come up with your own vision statement, that would be great, and you can submit it in the chat box, and Sophia will record that on the next slide.
Why don't, I'm already in the Zoom. Why don't I log into the Zoom and I'll take these people?
Oh, okay. So correction, online, Rob is actually going to kind of help with the online group. So, Michelle, how does that work, though, with noise level?
I don't know. We can try it and see. 'Cause if I try-
It's not going to work.
Rob, if you also joined, you'll probably just have to mute and turn down your volume so you can speak into the mic. Does that make sense?
So I should be able to speak into this mic and they can hear me? We're still
should
getting
be.
some
Yep.
echo. I'm getting ahead. Let's see. Oh, how? So this is going to be fun. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this, but we're going to try. Gentlemen, why don't you all unmute her online so we can talk?
How many of these?
And I am definitely getting some feedback on my computer here, so hopefully this will work.
Right now, this is the only one we have going on. We also help communities put together comprehensive plans, so like for Kosciuszko, we help a lot of our smaller communities, our rural towns.
So Donnie, could you turn that mic off? Thank you. Guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you. A little bit of echo.
That's being amplified into the whole system here, so that is, I don't know how well this is going to work. Donnie, there's no way to do a breakout room in Zoom, is there? Oh. So, gosh.
Rob got some headphones.
Yeah, I didn't bring any with me, unfortunately. Why don't we use the chat box? And I'm not familiar enough with this program to know where it is in here. And maybe just start typing some stuff. Yeah, come on around. We can start typing stuff collaboratively.
Could you show us a pic of the sample?
Yeah, well, let me,
I will go ahead and share that onto the screen so that you guys would be able to see those.
Click on the Zoom meeting,
which one? Where?
the Zoom one, to open up your chat box.
So that's,
Or if you just click on the white bar, that should bring it to the front. Or,
did that pop back behind? Oh, it's this view.
oh, duh, it's because I'm sharing my screen. So there's a chat box.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so everyone will be able to see what you're putting.
There you go.
The Goshen one would be fine because I really like the Goshen.
Oh, this is the wrong document. I'm so sorry.
If you could show like the city of Goshen mission statement. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to dig for that one a little bit. But so you'll see some vision statement examples from existing park boards. And then after you guys have read through these, if you'd like, I can scroll down to see the mission statements as well.
Is the idea of linking or connecting more of a mission than envision, though? Is that a little small for
I don't think so.
and connecting idea? I like a lot, but is that more mission oriented really than vision oriented? Because it's more specific? Yeah.
I'd agree with that statement.
So I think it's totally okay to talk about connection in the vision statement. The way that I like to think about those, and I don't know if anything will be helpful, vision is more of a statement of the product you would like to see, whereas mission is more of the actions that will be taken to get to that vision statement, if that's helpful.
That's very
So
helpful.
communities would be a part of the vision statement then.
So it looks like there was a question to everybody in the group from someone that said, what does everyone think of Goshen? Did anybody have any thoughts on that one?
We certainly have plenty of fantastic parks already, and I'd love to see them accessible through paths.
I just put one in the chat. This is Rich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For the vision and the mission, we use like Kosciuszko County, like two different terms. That's meant to just be an example.
Okay.
So when we say Kosciuszko County, we want you all, you and everyone else, what does Kosciuszko County mean? So is it Kosciuszko County as it is, or is it Kosciuszko County?
Well, I'll have to come over here and look what Rich threw in here.
Okay.
So is that sort of what you're looking for?
Yeah.
I need a comma or two in mind for emphasis or better cadence.
Yeah, I mean, I see, can you guys hear me? I see vision as being a very big aspirational statement where the mission statement's more nuts and bolts.
I agree. Rich, I think you're right in line with both what I was thinking and what I saw as our charge as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see a vision statement that's something that we never attain, but are always pursuing.
Right.
It's that big, yeah.
Is that supposed to be natural resources and not nature resources?
Yes. Yep, that's a typo along with a missing comma or two.
Donnie, are we supposed to do vision, our mission as well then? Okay. Uh, okay, go ahead and jump forward. Okay, gentlemen. I like that with maybe eventually cleaning up a little bit. Why don't we discuss vision then? Because I like that a lot.
Yeah, Rob, I would say in my head that the comma after connectivity, like that's a key priority is the connectivity and the utilization of blah, 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 right? So
Right.
I like that kind of pause after connectivity, it kind of focuses that priority. And then really the others are kind of the elements that we're after, which is built and natural resources, amenities, and opportunities. Yeah. Cool.
So then on the next slide of this Jamboard that we've been using, we're going to be compiling the vision and mission statements from each team. Once we fix the typo that was mentioned earlier, is everyone comfortable with having what Rich had written in there earlier? Or would you like to work on that draft just a little bit more?
I'm comfortable moving forward with that. I would presume probably none of these will survive the entire group's review anyway, so rough draft is probably fine.
Yeah. Do you want me to type that in, Sophia, or you got it?
I can go ahead and do that for the group.
Okay. So if you want to put a comma after connectivity and then correct the natural instead of nature, that's probably enough for now.
So it looks like some of the other groups have also started on a mission statement. If that's something you guys would like to draft at this point, that'd be great also. And then I can paste that over onto the next slide.
Okay, so we got all the statements recorded from the 5 groups. They're displayed up on the screen, so if you can see your sticky notes, some of them we had to put up on 2 separate sticky notes, but they're right above, underneath each other. So note that's just because of character limitations, so that's why you see 2 sticky notes for maybe 1. But let's go ahead and the first one on the left-hand side, I believe that's Rob, your group. If each group, if you can see the screen, read off your vision statement, and then what we like to do is talk about what do we like, or maybe not like as well, through these statements, so that way we can kind of come up with one cohesive vision amongst these 5 different ones. So Rob, if you want to go ahead and start off, read
Okay.
what your group came up with.
So I ended up taking everybody who was online, and we muddled through technology to try to do this. So ours was to see that every person living in Kosciuszko County is thriving through connectivity and the utilization of built and natural resources, amenities, and opportunities.
Okay, so if everyone in the audience, is there anything you would like to share that you like about that statement, even online? If those online, if you want to clarify anything in regards to that statement or answer any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. Those in the room, is there anything you like about the statement or not? Sure, Nate? Okay. Those online, did you all hear that? Or Rob, I'm sure you heard it. Do you
I
wanna-
heard it. No, I think it's a great point. I think it's a very valid point.
We didn't hear that.
Okay.
So the comment was that potentially if you say every person living in Kosciuszko County, you're then excluding all the visitors to Kosciuszko County, if I can summarize.
And that comment, what was shared was tourism is a big industry in the county, so considering the visitors. Okay, let's go on. Or is there any other comments before I go on to the next statement? Everyone's probably ready to leave. Okay, next statement, in the middle group, I believe that's,
That's right here.
yeah,
This is the-
okay, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, this one, we found another vision statement from another organization similar to ours, and so we just adapted it. So Kosciuszko County strives to create and manage a sustainable, vibrant system of parks, trails, and open spaces where exceptional visitor experiences enrich the human spirit and offer all people the opportunity to connect with the county's protected natural, cultural, historic, scenic resources consistent with the responsible resource stewardship.
Any thoughts from anyone in the audience or online?
I like sustainable and vibrant, because we need to have maintenance in there, sustainability, whatever we do.
Okay, so those online, if you didn't hear, an individual shared that they like the word, using the word sustainable and vibrant.
I like the aspect of connecting to the resources that are cultural, historic. I just want to make sure that we're not responsible for creating those historical and, right now, but I think connecting to those actually, I do like.
So that comment was indicating the connection to cultural and historical resources, not that the county park board will be creating cultural and historic resources. So that they like that component of saying connecting to.
Here, I'll argue the other way, having just the word visitor in there, I think, because these parks are, and blueways, greenways, any of these things are meant to be community-owned assets, and so when it's referred to as a visitor kind of coming into it, kind of a foreign person coming into something that's not part of what they collectively own, that feels a little more sterile and disconnected than if it's, so now I'm arguing on the other side.
Yep. So the comment,
We were discussing that in our county, we have some resources, but they're privately owned, like boards or other trusts or, other places, so there are.
what was Rich's comment? He's put in the chat.
People don't necessarily know about it or not necessarily accessible to everybody.
And you can visit the grocery store, you don't have to be from out of town to be a visitor to them.
All right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Rob, are you going to read Rich's statement? So, I'll be happy to. So Rich indicated, well, there are a couple of comments. First one, let me just read Rich's. Too wordy, I know, in my opinion, trying to identify every possible thing in one statement. Hard to do that and be succinct. And then Jim has one, two. So I think Jim's might have been more towards,
I think his was the first statement, I think. I thought I saw his come up.
generally a vision is short.
Okay. So keep that in mind. Let's go on to the third statement. So it reads, or whose is that one?
That's with my group.
Okay.
Okay. It was Stephanie, Shannon, Marcia, Jerry, and myself. We came up with that, and I'm going to read it off my phone because I can't I can't see that far. Our vision is, Kosciuszko County's vision is to provide residents with access to high-quality parks, recreational trails, blueways, green spaces, and trails within our county and nearby communities. But I would say that we didn't have time to pretty that up, but that's the gist of what we came up with.
So the comment was adding the word visitor probably into that one, based on the other feedback. Using those terms, residents and visitors, is it?
I think you could probably just say trails without saying recreational trails. I think we have to be careful as well from the aspect of trails are not just for recreation, but are also for transportation.
Yeah, good point.
Rob, can you read?
Yeah, so Rich said that in the first one, which I think is ours, he said, the first one would be more visitor inclusive, if you simply change the word living to experiencing.
Rob, your mic's off.
That-
Your mic's off.
Let me repeat that, sorry. So Rich said you could be, gosh. First one could be more visitor inclusive if you simply change the word living to experiencing, just a thought. And then he said in the third, you could change residents with people. And you know what's cool is we are certainly getting an agreement between all of us that it's got to have both of those in. So to some extent, we're coming to what part of it's going to look like, aren't we?
Okay. Again, let's go on to the fourth.
Okay. This is one that Diane, Larry, and I worked on, and I'll go ahead and read it. The County Park Board will be a leader in the management and creation of a vibrant system of parks, trails, environmental education, blueways, and open spaces. They will promote and assist in establishing county-wide connectivity between existing resources, as well as provide recreational spaces where none exist currently.
Oh, okay. None exist. And then any comments from anyone? Nate?
In number 3 and 4, I like the specificity of the trails and blueways and things, but there's a double-edged sword there, because if you have it really specific and there's other tools that we haven't envisioned yet in this group, then it kind of limits what that vision could be in the future. Whereas if we use more vague language of
The activity, maybe?
people to have, then we keep ourselves open to more different tools to get there.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think once we started talking about the specificity of the trail types might go into the mission as an initial focus in how we're going to do it, as opposed to the overall mission.
Yeah.
For the fourth one, I like the word leader. I think that that's pretty nice. I think that we have an opportunity to lead.
Yeah, that was our main distinction. We didn't like the idea of a park board that was just going to be, well, this committee has this resource, and this one has this, this has this, and we're gonna have them get more here, and them get more here, and them get more here. But that there's a unified leadership and central vision as to what's provided across the county. And that those things are connected together, not just fiscal connection, which we need, but also just connected in the mission and scope, so we're not leaving out one component. So we wanted to see the park board be more than just a vehicle for people that hang on and apply for a grant. The county approved that they needed something here. We wanted them to be a leader, taking leadership, coordinating things. And I grew up in St. Joe County. My sister lives in Elkhart County. I look at everything they've been able to do with their park system with that kind of leadership, a centralized leadership, rather than just little individual entities.
Yeah, that's really an interesting point. I know one of the things that I thought of as I came on the Parks Board is I don't want to be, oh, we're here from Kosciuszko County and we're in charge now. I certainly didn't want any Parks Board to think that.
Well, I think it's interesting that this perspective has come from folks involved with Warsaw Parks.
Right.
I just want to point that out.
And Rich had said for the fourth one, could the connectivity include communities to it and not just existing resources?
That's great feedback, I think.
Okay. And then let's go on to the last group's vision. Okay. So the last group said Kosciuszko County Parks will create an interconnected network of communities focused on recreational opportunities, strategic growth, and preservation of natural resources. Any thoughts from those online as well in the room?
I like it, except I want it to be more than that. I want it to be making more than just connecting all the communities, but actually playing a role itself. You know, maybe someday we'll actually establish a central, county park. I don't want to limit us to just a little piece connecting what everybody else is doing.
Right. So I can see Rich's comment. He said he likes it if we're just kind of going with brevity, not so much being specific. So,
Yeah, as I think about it, I like the very aspirational term for this one. And then we got down to the mission is I think where I'd like to see us talk more about blueways and greenways, because that really appears to be where we're looking at for the next 5 years. So if we're talking long-term, this vision needs to be sky high, but we know what we're sort of looking at right now for the next 3 to 5 years.
and I saw Jim had put in a chat a comment or a suggestion saying, would replacing the word strategic with innovative? Was that right, Jim? Or Rob, if you see that?
Yeah, I do see that. So that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
One of the things I like about the last one too is it's very purposeful. It says that we will, create. So I think that that is kind of intentional, and I think that's exciting to me.
Okay. All right. So now the last thing we'd like to do here for the vision statement part is there's 5 examples. You've shared what you've liked or maybe not liked. What we like to do now, how can we merge these 5 into like one cohesive, unified vision statement?
So if we took the
So if I can remember what we just said, two recommendations were to add the leader component to the first part. So Kosciuszko Parks will be a leader in creating. And then the next part would be an interconnected network of communities and interconnected network of communities and resources. Yeah, focused on recreational opportunities, strategic growth, and preservation of natural resources. Now, I know there was a comment from Jim on
Innovative.
replacing strategic and innovative. I'm not sure, we've struggled with strategic, and I'm struggling with innovative a little bit. We started with economic, but we wanted to talk a little bit more about local growth, planned growth, could be growth of the population, it could be economic growth with visitors. The one word we used was intentional. Okay, but I just want to open that up for discussion. It's so tough with, and I know it's a vision statement, but strategic and innovative have very different meanings to different people. I just want to make sure it's represent what we're saying.
How about just get rid of the modifier, just put growth?
Well, then I think it's not enough. Maybe it is, yeah, but.
I know it's the Parks Board or Parks and Rec Department. Again, I just want to caution that we're just focused on recreation when
I agree.
sometimes when we go to get grants, it's about who's maintaining these trails and it's about transportation, and the transportation, the highway department is not responsible for it, but the Parks Board needs to be.
Right, and I think that's where we do say recreational opportunities, but between the interconnected and the, however, intentional growth, strategic growth, hopefully speaks to that, and maybe, but to your point, I think that is critical about active transportation. Maybe we work that into the mission a little bit as well. So it could be intentional growth, but I'm still kind of struggling for the right word for that.
With your group, where you have like a purpose for doing these things, can you guys offer something that we could add at the end of the statement? Like, we have to offer, like, immerse the human spirit and offer all people an opportunity to something or other. And if you feel like that's important, to add it on the end of your statement, the reason why we're doing this is
To drive quality of life type initiatives. Yeah.
that feels like that's really important to get that in there. How can we incorporate that into
So Rich had sort of jokingly saying we put the word progressive growth in there, understanding that can be a charged word today. But he did say he kind of likes intentional if we're looking for a word.
Yep.
The other thing I would throw in, a little off this subject, but I like the idea of talking about Kosciuszko County overall and not the Parks Department, because we represent everybody. So as we talking about that, I would definitely drop the parks off.
What's everyone's thoughts on that?
Fine with it. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Me too.
I had to put this on two separate notes, that's why you see two, sorry.
And so we want to change that word from strategic to intentional to see if that works, right? And then the other piece was, you were bringing up adding.
Human element to
Okay.
the experience aspect, experiential stuff that we have in ours.
I kind of like the way that it reads right now. I don't know, are we going to get another time to let this maybe rest and then come back? Sometimes it's good to let these things kind of cook a little bit.
So if we can kind of come up like with this one, 85%-ish, I can share that out by email. And if you guys want to think about it a little more and converse back by email, I would welcome that if everyone wants to.
Okay.
Could we put something as simple as where we have the,
Sorry, am I getting that statement correctly?
and resources? Focused, yep. And while you're doing that, I was just thinking, could we just add a fourth component around when we talk about recreational opportunities, intentional growth, and preservation of natural resources? Is there just a cultural, cultural something, and we just add that as a fourth component, as a way of capturing kind of that spirit? No, just as, it's a, our four areas of focus on this will be recreational opportunities, intentional growth, preservation of natural resources, and cultural something, as a means of capturing that theme. I need help with the something word here.
Well, I would question what we're actually be after when we talk about cultural. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like a hard one to really define in a Parks Department purpose. So
I think that's fair, and maybe the other way of approach, I mean, the way it's worded earlier about connecting to the cultural aspects is, I think, is great. Maybe it's something that is more specific in a mission statement and kind of how we're doing and why, what we're doing as opposed to the broader vision. Because I do agree, I like keeping vision statements really, really short.
yeah, I think when it comes to historical or cultural, that's probably needs more definition than what a vision statement
Yeah.
is capable of, in my opinion.
How about adding the word vibrant before recreational to add a little bit more human element to it?
Okay, but if you recommend anything that's not vibrant, it's off the list.
That's Matt's job.
I understand why we want to simplify this, because it's a vision statement, but if we wanted to get to cultural, where I think we would add it is preservation of natural and cultural resources. So it's still connected to preservation. It's not yet a whole nother thing.
No.
I'm not saying we need to add it. Yeah, that's my thought.
Personally, I think I'm starting to lean towards not adding it in this vision statement, but incorporating
mission.
it in a mission statement or other. But, yeah, that's just my opinion. So the comment was that there are historical, cultural, like Indian mounds and Native American elements in the county. And I think that's part of why I'm struggling of wording it that way with cultural, because I'm not even aware of that type of heritage in the county. And maybe we should be preserving it, but that sounds like something we need to figure out.
What about this? Casco County will be a leader in creating an interconnected network of communities, resources, and experiences focused on vibrant recreational opportunities, intentional growth, and preservation. I don't want to use resources again, maybe stewardship. Because you're using resources and resources right after each other.
No, I like that.
Because you're talking about an interconnected network of communities, resources, experiences focused on the vibrant recreational opportunities, intentional growth,
And
preservation or stewardship, something like that.
Yep.
The possibility of having a county naturalist or somebody else.
So I do want to point out, we just heard the 3 o'clock chime, which was the slated end of our meeting, and that doesn't mean we all turn into pumpkins now, but we probably should be moving towards a resolution for today.
Oh, what it currently says? Yeah. Okay, so the current proposal, Kosciuszko County will be a leader in creating an interconnected network of communities, resources, and experiences focused on the vibrant recreational opportunities, intentional growth, and preservation of natural resources.
I think the needs to come out
Yeah.
of focus.
Okay, so there's two words. First of all, take the word "the" out before vibrant, and then the,
Yeah, that last one, preservation, it could just be and preservation or and stewardship. Period. Yeah.
Period.
So it's.
so you're not repeating resources.
Right, 'cause you're
Ooh, I like stewardship.
So, and stewardship?
talking about your resources and
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
Okay.
stewardship.
what's that?
Can you give it one more read, please?
No. Happy to. Kosciuszko County will be a leader in creating an interconnected network of communities, resources, and experiences focused on vibrant recreational opportunities, intentional growth, and stewardship.
So Rob, that's kind of the cohesive vision statement. The last thing we do need is the mission part of it. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to?
If everybody's willing to keep going, I'm willing to keep going. That's fine with me. I don't think our Zoom ends either. I haven't seen any notices pop up, so I think we're good there too.
I think we have an account.
But some of them will only run a certain length of time before they shut off.
Okay. And then the mission statements, what we want, the vision and mission are what we wanted to walk away with today, or is there more?
Yeah, again, about 85%.
Okay. All right.
I saw Matthew just share. Is this for your group? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's actually mine, and it looks like I had a autocorrect in my, off of my phone. So again, this was with Stephanie, Shannon, Marcia, Jerry, and myself. It should read. Yeah. Yeah, it should say to preserve, I'm sorry. No, not preseason. Yeah, it should say to preserve, protect, and identify funding and other resources for opportunities and projects and communicate our assets and promote them. But yeah, that's not, it's going to take some work.
So I had preserve. That's as far as I got.
Actually, it's already up on the, I'm sorry, Donnie, it's that first one that's already there.
Yeah, I lied to you, Donnie. I thought it was ours up there, but it was Troy's.
Yeah.
Oh, you shared by email was Troy's? Matt?
No, I emailed you something too, but I what you copied and pasted is Troy's. Ours is the mission of Kosciuszko County Parks and Rec is to protect, provide, protect, and preserve county lands.
The yellow one?
Yeah.
I had to split up in two.
No, I'll resend it to you.
It's actually, it's already up there, Donnie, it says to preserve, protect, and identify funding and other resources to identify opportunities. It's this very first one right here.
Yep.
That very first one is the one that I sent to you.
Okay. Do I need to change anything now?
Yeah, it needs a lot of work. There's, I think that,
You're saying not do that now?
well, I think that we could bounce it off of, the whole group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Sophia, those yellow ones that are up there, is that from the online group?
I haven't sent you mine at this point in time. Let me see what you put up here.
Yes, those are the ones from the online group.
Okay. Okay.
Dan, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Connectivity, and I don't see that in the other ones, both physical connection and like programming connection, you know. That was the main thing we kept coming back to, is somehow the Park Board should be the leader in promoting that connectivity.
Yeah, that is really different, isn't it? Like that. Especially for the first 5 years. If we think that's what this is about.
To me, I think there's a lot of value in sleeping on these.
I
types of
agree.
Things.
Yeah. What do you guys think about
Okay.
sleeping on them? Okay. Yeah, so Donnie, I think what we'd like to do is do a quick review of these and then have you email them out to everybody,
The mission statement parts?
both of them.
Both, okay.
I think we have a pretty good consensus on vision, but like to have it out there anyway.
Okay. So it needs to be a sticky note. Okay. Steal Michelle's mic. So one group, their mission statement said preserve, protect, and identify funding and other resources to identify opportunities and projects and communicate our assets and promote them. Another group said Kosciuszko County is committed to developing greenways, blueways, and parks for recreational and transportation connectivity between towns, cities, and surrounding areas through intentional development of local economies while preserving and restoring natural areas. A third group shared the mission of the Kosciuszko County Parks and Recreation Department is to provide, protect, and preserve county lands, open spaces, and green and blueways for the enjoyment, education, and inspiration of this and future generation. Another group said promote and assist in establishing countywide connectivity between existing resources as well as provide recreational spaces where none exist currently. And then ideas that were submitted online. The mission is to develop, steward, and preserve the county's assets to maximize the opportunity for everyone to connect, play, and learn. We will accomplish that through collaboration, strategic initiatives, and developing and managing the funding resources necessary to accomplish those goals. Another suggestion, to enhance the quality of life in Kosciuszko County by conserving and caring for significant natural areas and promote stewardship, high-quality parks and facilities, along with innovative programs and services. And lastly, to serve our, and not least, to serve our community through thoughtful planning, fiscal responsibility, accessibility by providing quality facilities and amenities, community involvement, along with environmental stewardship. So hearing all these ideas, just consensus-wise, what things do you all like Rob suggested. I will share all these ideas out so that way you guys can comment more specifically through the email. But if you just want to submit and share any comments now, I'll be happy. We can talk through those, trying to be cognizant of everyone's time.
I think a couple capture specifically language like blueways and greenways and parks. And I think, there's always a question of what detail goes into a mission statement versus other things. But I'm seeing that in a couple spaces, and that came up in our discussion quite a bit with vision as an element. These are elements we might want to include in the mission statement.
I think my question on the mission statement side is not, which amenities, whether it's blueways or trails, but what's the role of this park board in it? Is it to help find funding? Is it to provide some central location for all communications and sort of mapping of things? So I don't know if that's appropriate for a mission or not, but I think that's the clarity I'm kind of looking for, is what is the role of this park department when it comes to trails, parks, blueways? What is our role? Is it connecting? Is it building? Is it helping find funding? Is it organizing? What is it? I don't know the answer, but I'm asking the question and hoping it's reflected some way ultimately.
Well, I think that's a very good question. I tend to think the answer is all the above is what we sort of think probably at this point in time.
Yeah, I went through that. I looked it up online again. What's the difference between a vision and the mission? And, the vision is why, and the mission's more the what and how. And so honestly, I think you bring up good points because I think those are, encompassed in the what and the how as well.
And I look back when Commissioner Groninger met with us at our first meeting, he talked about getting the grants. He talked about connecting the communities. So I think it really is the financing, the finding, the building, it's everything they're looking for at this point in time. Whether that turns out to be what we actually do, that's why you build this, right? Maybe you end up with it, maybe it's your best guess.
I mean, it's possible if we were to take out blueways and greenways language, right, identify methods of connecting the communities through infrastructure, and then also address funding, attainment of funding, et cetera.
You could have infrastructure and existing natural resources.
Yeah. Infrastructure, yeah, as you mentioned, infrastructure and existing natural resources.
I think part of it is also in this sort of just the mapping and communicating to both residents and visitors about what is available. We talk about being a system or a network, but right now there's all these little individual parts that aren't systemized or networked. And so somebody has to draw a picture or a map of all that, right? So that they know where things are that we can take our families to or bring visitors to. So I'm hoping that part of the role of the Parks Board is to somehow
So I know at the, one of the earlier meetings, we had the Convention and Tourism Bureau here, and they have a lot of that stuff already. So I know what we're looking at is sort of a twofold process, the Parks Department master plan, and then probably hiring somebody to do a separate Blueway Greenway master plan. That would be more focused on finding and building than what we're doing here today.
Any last thoughts before we conclude today's meeting?
I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for taking time, hours out of your day to come help. That's so nice of you. Thank you.
If it was easy, we would have been done in 5 minutes, right?
Well, let's go around the horn. Is there any good of the order, either from the Parks Board or from anybody in the audience then? Good of the order?
There was some discussion of perhaps changing the date of our next meeting, and I think that had to do with the conference.
I think it's currently scheduled for the 17th, I do believe, of November.
But you mentioned
Is
that
that the day you were
the,
going down?
No, the 16th is the date I was thinking of
Okay,
going.
so that isn't a conflict for the day you were going.
Correct.
Okay, so that we can stay with the
Right.
17th. Okay, good.
And Donnie, we're good waiting a month?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we, you said wait a month, so if we don't meet in November, correct? We'll meet up in December, is that
No,
what you?
we'd be
we
November
already-
17th.
November
yes,
17th,
yeah.
yeah.
Would you want the steering committee together for that? is the
Yes,
question.
that'd be great.
Okay. November 17th at 1?
does not having the mission statement completed right now delay us in any way?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, very good, then we'll stand adjourned. Again, thank you all so much for coming today.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
I promise the activities will go a lot quicker next time, 'cause we won't be doing all the recording, so. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Thanks, Sophia, and everyone online for joining. Can I just go ahead and?
See, the simple way to do it is to add more trails. I don't know.
Thanks all.
It's so nice of you to.
I had a long walk from my office over there, so actually I was kind of slow today, so it's messed up. Okay. I had a period of time where I was insanely
If
busy.
Michelle needs me to sign the minutes for anything, we'll get it. Nothing else.
No, I'm not.
She said she had to step out.
I can always send it to you all the time. She may not know that, but I have. We use that in our office all the time.
So I made that map.
Yes, and we had it here last time.
But then I think you wanted to add to it abandoned rail. And I had given that to Michelle. I think I'd given you a digital.
Yeah, and I forwarded that to all of our.
Right, and then, so then I printed one for Michelle, which she'll probably share with you, or maybe for the next meeting or something, I don't know. But my point, and the reason bringing that up is, I mean, very little of that, of course, is really, I mean, most of it was abandoned so long ago. But the only one that is sort of still in public is the one that goes through Warsaw going up to Goshen, which isn't maybe the right on 15 or whatever. And I don't know, I mean, it's owned by the state of NDOT. It sounds like they'll want to expand the road or something. But,
Yeah, with their current thing of 4-lane and everything that exists.
right, yeah, so who knows? But the rest of it's kind of reverted, but who knows? I mean, let's say the one that goes from Warsaw toward Mentone, maybe, I don't know what portion that's owned by Creighton Brothers, who knows, maybe.
I know Creighton Brothers was reached out to, and they were not opposed to the idea of running a trail across the road. They